Welcome back. This video is about an even added collaborative option on Zoom. One of my favorite features, breakout rooms. In a classroom, we send students in to work with small groups or have a think, pair, share discussion where they can have their own little thing happening. And you get a little bit more interaction, especially when you have a class of 30 or even 20 or more. So the breakout room function, the way that it works is you as the host, if you turn your settings on for this, have the ability to assign students into what's called breakout rooms. So if you click on the breakout room option, you have two options. You can either have it assign them automatically where it just randomly assigns them, or if you have specific groups that you want to create, you can set it up manually. So because I have it, Zoom automatically calculates the number of rooms for even distribution. Let's say if you don't want to do that, you can change it. You could, if you know you want 3 groups to be working, or you know you have some students who are going to come, they're just showing up a little bit later, you can create the room and have them get added as they show up. So if I set it up automatically and click create breakout rooms, it's going to still give me a chance to check it before sending them out. So I see that it's put amazing student and delightful student together, which isn't a problem, but best student and curious student and best student have had problems in the past, so maybe might not be the best arrangement together. So I'm going to exchange curious student with delightful student because delightful student is just delightful. And from this screen is also where I'd be able to, let's say I wanted another room open if I knew students were going to show up later. I can rename them, so if they're doing a Greek gods, working on presentations, and I want to be able to keep straight who's working on what. And then I also know that there's going to be a Dionysus group, let's say. So after I've done that, I'm going to click open all rooms, and then I will show you from the student side what happens. So the students will get this little pop-up. Says the host is inviting you to join a specific breakout room, and they can either join it now or they can join in a little bit if you are finishing giving them instructions. So when they click join, now the student has ended up in a breakout room with curious student. And in here they can be talking to just each other. They can be chatting with each other. They can be chatting, again, if you've turned it on, they can be chatting privately, or they can be collaborating with a text message. And then as the host, you see now there's no one in the room with me, but I can still see who's in the breakout rooms, make sure that I haven't lost anyone. And I can also join a room. So I'm going to check and see how the Zeus group is doing. And that takes me into their room. And it looks like they're having a good discussion, so I don't need to keep watching them. And I am going to switch to check on the Apollo group. And that takes me into the other room where I see the other 2 students working and collaborating and participating. Now, what if while I'm in either the main room or in the Apollo room, the Zeus room realizes they need help with something? The students can click under more. When they're in a breakout room, they can click ask for help. And when they do that, what shows up on my side is whoever it was in whatever room asked for help, and I can finish up in here and go over to that breakout room and see exactly what it was that they needed. Now, let's say it's about time to come back to the main room where I need to check in with all the students. From whatever room I'm in, I can send a quick broadcast. And when I do that, every student will see this pop up. From me to everyone, come back to the main room, please. I need to clarify instructions. They can leave the breakout room and return. It gives them a confirmation. Return to the main session. And it'll take me a minute to get everyone else back. So now that, let's assume that all the students have come back here, and I re-clarify the instructions and say, all right, go back out to your breakout rooms and continue working. So this student who had, oh wait, that's why it looks weird. So I'm going back to the main room. So in the main session, only let's assume that all of them had come back. I give them the instructions, and then I'm back on the student page. They can re-enter their same breakout room after they're done and find their partner in there again. Now, what if I'm done? I don't need them to go back into their room. Well, then I would open the breakout room screen and hit close all rooms. When I do that, it gives them this warning that normally it says 60 seconds. I don't know why it's doing that weird thing. But it'll say how much time, and then they can either wrap up what they're doing or just go straight back to the main session. Regardless whether they say to go back or not to go back, once the count ends, all of the students will show back up in there. You can wrap up the class and send them on their way. Now, if you were going to manually assign the rooms, like you didn't want it to randomize, then all it would show you is just the 2 breakout rooms, assign, and then you pick who goes in there. And again, otherwise it's the same options. Now, if you don't want them to leave, you can turn this off so that they can't come back to the main session until you call them back. You can change what the countdown time is, if you only want to give them 10 seconds, if you're running out of time, or if you want the breakout rooms to automatically close after a certain amount of time. These are all just different options that you can play with, but breakout rooms are really great for giving students that opportunity to still get that small group experience and to allow a number of students to privately work on different things that you, the teacher, would still have access to.